a towards universal health care plan. Maya Wiley has proposed a sliding scale city health insurance plan to the tune of at least $1 billion annually to be available to 246,000 people who are uninsured and ineligible for Medicaid Affordable Care Act. So that's towards universal health care. Her plan describes a number of funding mechanisms, including repurposing city funds like New York City Care, the city's current program for uninsured New Yorkers, and state Medicaid reimbursements, and finding administrative efficiencies. Maya Wiley has a policy paper specifically to address maternal health, particularly for black women who experience maternal mortality at a far higher rate in circumstances that are more often than not preventable. Maya Wiley would allocate $4.35 million to build birthing centers at all public hospitals and one on Staten Island's North Shore targeting communities of color. The proposal reads, and establish maternal health as mayoral priority. Climate and transit. The heart of Wiley's climate plan is $3 billion in climate infrastructure and $2 billion in NYCHA repairs, which is the projects, the government housing, NYCHA, NYCHA. What are you going to do with the NYCHA? The NYCHA program? Okay, so she's got a New Deal program. She's got a New Deal proposal. Part of the funding would come from $400 million in unspent federal aid for coastal resiliency projects. She's going to remove $1 billion from New York Police Department's $10 billion annual operating budgets by freezing cadet classes for 2 years and closing the Vice Squad, traffic enforcement, and school safety divisions. The rest of the money would come from cuts identified in a full audit of the New York Police Department, and the money would go towards violence interrupter groups, reentry services, and homelessness and mental health response. The focal point of her gun violence plan is $18 million to establish a participatory justice process where the public will have input on local anti-violence programs and policies in some of the communities hardest hit by shootings. Maya Wiley has said she would appoint a civilian police commissioner who has not come up through the ranks of the department and create an office to track behaviors associated with biased policing. The first step is to take the leadership of the NYPD out of a uniformed culture that is resistant to change and is stuck to routines and practices that are hostile to the mission, her plan states. So now that's compared to, Maya Wiley, she's got a New Deal plan. She's got this major infrastructure. So does Catherine Garcia. But Catherine Garcia is a big old tobacco cigarette. She's a narc, right? She's a right-wing. So Maya Wiley, she's going to legalize weed and Narcan. She's going to just, defund the police a little bit. Just take $1 billion from their $10 billion budget. She's the Civilian Complaint Review Board woman. So she is definitely in favor of police reform, 100%. She also wants to support small businesses, promote the arts, build housing for the homeless, a whole bunch of incredible stuff. Compared to Catherine Garcia, she actually, I'll give her one credit. Catherine Garcia actually wants to build homes, houses for the houseless. There's 50,000 homeless. She wants to build 50,000 houses. Well, goddamn, that fucking fixed homelessness, doesn't it? Build 50,000 tiny houses. Just do what Paperboy can build a tiny house. How come goddamn New York City, the government in New York City can't build a goddamn tiny house? 50,000, I mean, that would be cheap as shit. Tiny houses, 50,000 tiny houses, and the homeless people would fucking love their goddamn, it would be a mansion to them. She's got a very detailed infrastructure plan, too. But Catherine Garcia is a very right-wing person. She says she supports Black Lives Matter. I support Black Lives Matter, but we need strong policing, as if supporting black lives and having good policing are contradictory. We can have good policing and support Black Lives Matter. It's not a contradiction. She also is all about the war on drugs, Nixon's 1971 war on drugs. She's for keeping tobacco legal. I don't even know if she's for legalizing marijuana. We know that Maya Wiley will definitely legalize marijuana and Narcan. We don't know if Eric Adams or Catherine Garcia will do it, which actually goes against the state. The state of New York has legalized it, but the city won't. That sounds a little bit preposterous. Defund the police. She is 100% against defund the police, right? She says, it would be like saying defund the police. I think Black Lives Matter, so yeah, defund the police so black people could live. And, it's all or nothing. It's just the all or nothing kind of thing. So Catherine Garcia doesn't want CCRB. So where you have Maya Wiley, you'll know that she'll be for some police reform. We won't go back to the days of Giuliani So we just need to, you know, improve upon de Blasio's. She was a counsel to de Blasio, so she would be like a de Blasio 2.0. Well, she's going to make sure that the oversight board for the police, the Civilian Complaint Review Board, will be strong and have teeth. Maya Wiley wants to make sure that they can discipline, and she also wants to open up another department or some shit. So basically make sure the police are fucking accountable and to write the goddamn rules and shit. So she's all about police reform. Catherine Garcia, her only police reform is to take ban 21-year-olds from becoming cops and to raise the age to 25. So that's discriminatory against young people, 21, 22, 23, 24. You want to become a cop? Not in Catherine Garcia's, you know, New York City. No fucking way. She says if you can't even rent a car, why should she give you a gun? As if that makes any goddamn sense. So, yeah, there you go. She's going to raise the age of new recruits from 21 to 25. That'll probably solve all the goddamn police brutality, right? Hell, shit, there probably won't be no police brutality after that. That's about it. What she's going to do for the CCRB is she's going to make sure it has less power. She wants to essentially take the teeth away from it, make sure it has no disciplinary power, no investigative power, no subpoena power or arrest power. So what the fuck is the CCRB going to do to any of the police officers? Just, you know, chastise them. Catherine Garcia also doesn't want the city council to have the power to approve of the mayor's pick of police commissioner. This is right-wing totalitarian fascist shit. This is right-wing. She don't want the three branches. She just wants to pick her police commissioner, a bunch of Nazi fucking fascist motherfuckers. And so, yeah, Catherine Garcia, Eric Adams, both are fascist Nazi motherfuckers. He's the cop and she's the cop apologist. She's the bureaucrat of bureaucrats. She's the HBIC of all the bureaucrats. She's the janitor who sucked at being a janitor, and now she wants to become the superintendent. She also just reminds me of every meth head white trash I ever met in Kentucky. So just a visceral, just a, ugh, no, I do not like that at all. No effing way. So Eric Adams, Catherine Garcia, those are your right-wing fascist conservatives. Maya Wiley, you want some police reform? You want to not go back to the days of Giuliani? You want marijuana legalized? You want maybe Narcan legalized? You want $5,000 in your pockets? You want major capital investments? You want your small business to be supported? You want some more arts? You want houses for the homeless? You want a new deal? You want a new deal? Then you vote for Maya Wiley. She's going to get you universal health care. Neither Catherine Garcia nor Eric Adams is going to get you universal health care. So she's going to get police reform. She's going to, you know, kick out the criminal cops. We need to stay right there. Who the fuck thinks that just because you put on a goddamn uniform and a fucking badge that you can do no fucking wrong? That's the dumbest goddamn proposition I think I've ever fucking heard in my goddamn life. Well, he was a piece of shit growing up, but then we gave him a badge, and then all of a sudden he just, you know what, giving somebody power might actually help them, but then if it's in their fucking nature, no, that's still a human, right? I know you put a costume on that human, and you put a fucking authoritarian costume. You put a fucking fascist costume on that mother, that's like Prince Harry wearing that fucking Nazi uniform. What am I saying? Yeah, so she's got a big fat jobs program. She's got a new deal coming for you. She's going to legalize Narcan, that's pretty particular, Legalize marijuana, right? That would suck to live in New York City and then have Garcia or Adams as the mayor, and they won't even legalize marijuana in the entire fucking state. All them hillbillies, all them farmers will be smoking their fucking pot, you know, acting like they're fucking gangsters. In New York City, it just has to be like, well, shit. Well, guess we've been one up, haven't we? And then talk about all those gang issues, those gang problems, talk about police issues. Jesus Christ, throw out the war on drugs. At the very least, legalize marijuana. Legalize marijuana, Eric Adams. Legalize marijuana, Catherine Garcia. The rest of the fucking state has already done it. And, you know, that should make you feel, that should give you pause, frankly. You're not going to legalize marijuana. You're against freedom. You're against I have a right to my own fucking body. Who the fuck are you? And then the war on drugs, that's bad economics. So this is bad for freedom, bad for economics. Who the fuck would say, let's just keep, you know, Nixon's 1971 war on drugs. Let's just keep on narking. This fucking federal war on drugs, there's no more drugs. They've gotten rid of it. The war on drugs has been successful. You know, we've been pretty dedicated to the war on terror. We've been more dedicated to the war on drugs. But there's drugs all over the fucking place. And in spite of the war on drugs, we are actually the most, as a nation, as a country, 330 million Americans love their drugs. Their appetite for drugs are insatiable, and that's what fuels a lot of the violence in Mexico. So Catherine Garcia, she'll water down CCRB's power because she doesn't want police accountability. But Maya Wiley, you're definitely going to get police accountability there. And I would love to hear how she would talk about fighting crime. Because I guarantee you, I mean, none of them are in favor of crime, right? So keep the police and let them do their thing. But how are we going to, there's a crime problem. There's a police brutality and a crime wave. A crime epidemic and a police brutality epidemic. I think it's just summer. It's just warmer, so everybody's like, well, shit, time to just start beating people up and shooting shit. So that's who Maya Wiley is. Number two. So I had to separate the two. And did we change the numbers? Still 800,000 roughly votes total, 97% reporting. Eric Adams still winning with 32% over Maya Wiley's 22%, 177,722 to 253,000 to 234, which is approximately a difference of about 75 to 80,000 votes. So Maya Wiley, she's got, she's the underdog. She's got to find, like Donald Trump, she's got to find 80,000. Hey, can you find 80,000 votes? I just need 80,000 votes. Find 80,000 votes for Maya Wiley with the absentee ballots or with the redistribution of votes in the ranked choice elections or with the 3% that hasn't turned their votes in today. Find 80,000 votes, New York City. You need Maya Wiley to be your fucking mayor. New York City cannot endure another Eric Adams or a Catherine Garcia. The bureaucratic, man, that bureaucrat, I like how bureaucratic she's just boring and dull, and she acts like she has no ideology, even though she's very much right-wing, but I like how she don't have no thoughts about nothing. Reminds me of myself. Eric Adams, Catherine Garcia is the wrong direction for New York City. Maya Wiley is the correct direction. Come on, New York City.